Snarky Puppy does its thing, we have a little tradition that we'd like to carry on with. We have a record label called Ground Up Music that's based out of New York City, and lots of wonderful artists on that label, and we try whenever possible to bring in an artist from that label to play the first set of the evening. And tonight, y'all are in for a very special treat. A good friend of ours of many years. You've probably seen or heard him playing with a wide variety of different incredible artists, but now he's got this kind of unique solo project. As you'll see, it's kind of terrifying to watch, quite frankly. Maybe more terrifying for him because he has to do everything at the same time. But what you're about to hear is a human being playing 100% live, no pre-programmed tracks, no hidden Pro Tools rigs in the wings, playing keyboards, bass, guitar, drum set, and singing beautiful songs all at the same time, live in front of your very eyes and ears. Please give it up for Nate Wood 4, ladies and gentlemen.
Happy birthday, dear Michael. Happy birthday to you. You can't be sure in your life that you will know up front.
minutes before saying hello. It's just, we wanted to
Warm up?
warm up up here.
A little chilly.
Are y'all staying warm out there, I hope? Good. Well, it's a pleasure to be here for the very, very first time in this beautiful space here in Ritter Park. I really appreciate the birthday wishes, thank you. I also want to draw attention to our monitor engineer, Mr. Emlyn Spears, who also is celebrating his birthday. Because we had the night off last night here, we celebrated by eating every kind of food imaginable that had been battered and fried. And Davis's, y'all know Davis's? God, it was so good. Deep fried Oreos. Incredible. It comes with a diabetes pack. It was ridiculous. It was so good. The food was so good. And then we went to this barcade. What was it? Y'all remember what it was called? Oh, yeah, that one. It was nice. It was wholesome. It was like being in high school again. It was great. And it was a really pleasure to spend it here and really wonderful to be here in beautiful Ritter Park, which we've been exploring. Several of us going running, others of us embarrassing ourselves on the tennis courts. And we're very grateful to the people here at Parks and Rec for letting us make fools of ourselves around here. And we're grateful to you all for being here with us for the very first time. Our first 19 years. It only took 19 years. What's wrong with us? Well, better late than never. Those first 5 songs are from a new record that just came out, our 14th album. I know that sounds depressing, and it probably is. It's called Empire Central. It came out in the fall. And this tour, I guess for y'all, because it's your first time hearing us in this state anyway, everything's new. So it wouldn't really matter what we played, it would be new. But this is new for us, this is new music for us. We have 16 new songs written by 12 different people in the band on this new record, Empire Central. And since that's what this tour is about, we're just gonna keep playing new music if that's okay with y'all. And even if it's not, great, thank you. I'm glad you responded positively to that. This next song was written by the man behind me on my right, Mr. Nate Worth from Dyer, Indiana. Give it up. Appropriate since we're in a park, this song is called Mean Green, although it's not written about Ritter Park. It's written about the University of North Texas, which is where most of us met in Denton. The record's kind of about Texas. And the song goes like this.
drums, Huntington. Bob Reynolds on the tenor saxophone. Jason J.T. Thomas back there on the drum set. Oh, we got one more for you. We appreciate you coming out and keeping us warm.
Yeah.
saxophone, that's Bob Reynolds. Next to him on the trumpet, from Grapevine, Texas, Jay Jennings. On the trumpet, give it up for Mike Maz Maher. On the electric guitar, Mr. Mark Lettieri. On keyboards and trumpet to my left, Mr. Justin Stanton. About a hand for the world's funkiest human, Bobby Ray Sparks II on keyboards. On percussion, give it up for the great Nate Worth. On the drum set, the one, the only, Jason J.T. Thomas. How about an extra special hand for the Snarky Puppy crew working their butts off day and night, especially Evelyn, the birthday boy. My name is Michael Lee, we're Snarky Puppy. It's been a pleasure to be here. I also just want to say thanks to a couple organizations that made this happen. First off, Delta Hotels. Thanks for putting us up. The Bullock distillery, not to be a long lost cousin maybe of Chris Bullock's. They hooked it up. Also, Summit Beer Station. That's an awesome name. I love that. We're gonna ditch Snarky Puppy and be called the Summit Beer Station from now on. I like that. Also, Sip Downtown Brasserie, thank you very much for hooking us up. And finally, Jill LaFear, who baked us birthday cupcakes. Me and Evelyn, she put this whole thing together. And the Greater Huntington Parks and Recreation District. And Ritter Park, of course, the great Ritter Park. It's been a real pleasure hanging with y'all tonight. We hope you had fun. We'll be up there signing stuff afterwards. Come by, say hi, give us a hug, keep us warm. Don't whatever you're about to do, don't do it. Wait.
Yeah!
This dude right here
Yeah!
has led this band for 19 years straight. So if you love this band, I want you to show him some love on his birthday. We've been all over the world together, and anytime there's a birthday in the band, it is tradition that the audience sings happy birthday to. So we've got Mike and Emlyn. So let's do it all together. We can do it. We've done it, heard it in many languages, but right here in the good old US of A, we can sing it in English the way we know how. And I'm gonna sing it in a corny voice. Ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday. Thank y'all so much. It's been so much fun. Y'all take care. We'll be up there signing stuff. Come say hey. It's been a real pleasure, West Virginia. Thank you.